Hi, boys and girls. I know in first grade you've been learning all kinds of tricks for how to become a stronger and better reader. This week, we've been focusing on fluency. Now, I know you know that fluency means how does it sound as you read? Okay, is it smooth? Are you reading with expression? Are you paying attention to how the character is feeling and making your voice sound that way? Another thing that has to do with fluency is your reading rate. Rate means, the pace that you're reading. You don't want to read too fast and you don't want to read too slow. You have to read just the right pace. And often, as first graders, we tend to think that if we read fast and we finish quickly, that makes us a stronger reader. But actually, you want to read slower so that your audience can understand what you're reading. So Mrs. Moran's going to take a few minutes now to model rate, a good rate, but also a rate, a pace, or a speed that's not so good. I'm going to use one of our Cynthia Ryland books. This is a Henry and Mudge book, and it's called Henry and Mudge and the Funny Lunch. Okay. A lot of us are familiar with Henry and Mudge now. So first what I'm going to do is I'm going to read too quickly. Okay, so a rate that we wouldn't want to use. So the first chapter of this book is called Mother's Day. One day in May, Henry and Henry's big dog Mudge were playing kickball with some friends. Kickball was better than catch because no one had to pick up the drooly ball. That was even hard for me to do. I had a hard time with that. Mrs. Moran had a hard time trying to read so fast. So I have a feeling you had a hard time even understanding what I was reading. So now what I'm going to do is read too slow, kind of like a turtle or a sloth. One day in May, Henry and Henry's big dog, Mudge. Have you fallen asleep yet? Probably. Okay, wake up if you did, because now Mrs. Moran's going to show you an in-between rate, okay? A just right reading rate. One day in May, Henry and Henry's big dog Mudge were playing kickball with some friends. Kickball was better than catch because no one had to pick up the drooly ball. So on this page, the first thing I did was I read in a rate that was too fast, and it was hard for me to do. The second reading, I read in a rate that was too slow. And now the last time I read that page, I did it at the just right rate, okay, in between. Often when you're reading to an audience, you're actually reading slower than how you would normally read in your head. Keep that in mind. Some of the other videos that you're going to be watching this week that have to do with fluency will remind you to pay attention to punctuation marks. They'll remind you to read with expression. Think about how the character is feeling. Another piece of fluency is thinking about your reading rate. Okay? So boys and girls, today when you're reading on your own, I want you to practice reading with a good rate. You often have to read out loud so you can hear your voice. So feel free to find a stuffed animal or read in your room by yourself or even to a sibling. But I want you to practice reading at a just right rate. Okay? Good luck, boys and girls.